Forget protein for just a moment. We've all been told that muscle loss after 60 comes down to eating enough chicken, fish, or protein shakes. And yes, protein matters. But if that were the whole answer, millions of older adults who eat balanced diets wouldn't still be struggling with weak legs, sore backs, or that frustrating sense of slowing down. There's another missing piece, something quietly running the show in the background that often decides whether your body rebuilds muscle or lets it slip away. Think of your body as a well-built car. Protein is the fuel in the tank. But what if the engine isn't firing properly? What if the spark plugs are worn down or the wiring is frayed? It doesn't matter how much gas you pour. You're not going anywhere. That's what happens inside the body when we focus only on protein. We forget about the systems that use it. Here's the hopeful part. Muscle decline isn't a life sentence. Your body isn't broken. It's simply waiting for the proper signal to flip the switch back into growth mode. Once you understand what's happening inside your cells, you'll realize you have far more control than you think. You can restore strength, energy, and confidence, not in 10 years, but starting today. In my practice, I've met people in their 60s and 70s who believed weakness was just the price of aging. Then, with a few simple changes, they found themselves walking faster, climbing stairs without hesitation, even lifting their grandchildren again. It wasn't magic. It was science. Science that shows muscle rebuilding is possible at any age if you give your body the right tools. And one of the most potent tools isn't a new protein powder or a trendy workout routine. It's a mineral that often goes overlooked, but makes all the difference in whether your muscles rebuild or remain stuck. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll see exactly what it is, and why it could be the turning point in your journey to strength after 60. So why do our muscles shrink as we get older? It's not simply because we forgot to eat enough chicken or beans. The real reason lies deeper. The silent shifts happening inside the body every year after midlife. First, hormones begin to dip. Testosterone and growth hormone, two key messengers that tell muscles to grow, start declining steadily after our 50s. Without those signals, the body doesn't put muscle repair at the top of its priority list. It's as if the construction crew is still on site, but no one is giving them the blueprint. Second, our mitochondria, the little engines inside every cell, slow down. These engines are supposed to take our food and turn it into energy, but with age, they lose some of their spark. Imagine trying to power a light bulb with a battery that's almost drained. That's how your muscles feel: dim, sluggish, and less responsive, even if you're still eating well. And then there's something even more subtle. Over time, the body receives quiet but constant messages to shift into preservation mode. Inflammation, stress, poor sleep, and even tiny nutrient gaps all reinforce the signal. Muscle growth is not urgent. In this mode, your body protects calories for survival and lets muscle strength fall to the side. Let me share the story of Robert, a 67-year-old retired teacher I once spoke with. He noticed his daily walks were getting shorter. Carrying groceries felt heavier. Not because he lacked willpower. He was disciplined, even eating lean protein daily. The problem was that his body had quietly downgraded muscle repair. It was signaling, "We're conserving energy now," and Robert followed along. But here's the truth. Weakness is not destiny. It's not laziness. It's the body's way of asking for a new signal. Once you learn how to send the right message, strength can return, and the downward spiral can be reversed. Your body is not saying, "I give up." It's whispering, "Help me reset." I want you to remember that muscle loss is not your body giving up. It's your body waiting for better instructions. Think of it as a conversation between your brain, cells, and muscles. If the message is weak or distorted, the response will be weak too. But once you send the right signals, your muscles can respond, regardless of age. For years, Most muscle health advice has focused on the big picture: eat more protein, lift some weights, and try to stay active. And those things are essential. But here's the problem: protein and exercise can only do so much if the cellular wiring isn't functioning correctly. It's like yelling instructions through a broken microphone. The message never really gets through. So, what does your body truly need? It needs its signals realigned. That means lowering unnecessary inflammation, improving how your cells handle energy, restoring sleep cycles, and bringing back the nutrients that quietly keep the system running. When those pieces are in place, the protein suddenly starts working again. Exercise feels more rewarding. Energy returns. I once worked with a woman named Linda, 72, who ate balanced meals and stayed faithful to her morning yoga. Yet, she told me she felt like she was walking in sand all day, heavy, drained, unable to rebuild strength. Something remarkable happened once we adjusted her nutrition and addressed her low magnesium levels. Within weeks, she wasn't just keeping up with her yoga, she was increasing her stamina and walking farther than she had in years. The blueprint was finally reaching the construction crew. Your body wants to rebuild. It just needs the right environment to do it. When you think about it, aging is less about losing strength and more about losing clear communication between your cells. And the good news is that communication can be restored. So, instead of shouting more protein into a broken system, focus on tuning the signal. When the message gets through, your muscles know exactly what to do. And that's when real strength returns. Now let's talk about the mineral almost everyone overlooks: magnesium. It doesn't have the flashy reputation of protein shakes or trendy supplements, but it quietly runs the show inside your body. Magnesium is involved in over 300 processes that keep you alive and well. From how your muscles contract and relax, to how your body makes energy, balances blood sugar, and calms your nerves, it's working behind the scenes every second. Most people don't realize that the energy that fuels every muscle movement is called ATP. But ATP can't be used unless it's bonded with magnesium. The real working form is Meiji ATP. Without magnesium, it's like owning a brand new car with no key to start the ignition. The fuel is there, but the engine never turns on. This becomes even more important after 60, when magnesium levels naturally decline. According to NIH research, nearly 70% of adults over 60 aren't getting enough. And when levels dip, recovery slows, energy feels drained, and protein doesn't get used the way it should. I think of Michael, a 63-year-old accountant who came to me frustrated. He walked daily, ate balanced meals, and added more protein, but still felt tired and sore. After checking his routine, he was clearly running on a magnesium deficit. Once he corrected that, the difference was striking. His evening walks no longer left him exhausted, and he told me, "For the first time in years, I feel like my body is listening to me again." That's the power of magnesium. It's not a miracle pill, but it is the missing link that finally allows everything else you're doing to click. Protein, exercise, and rest depend on this quiet mineral to work correctly. So while the world keeps shouting about protein, remember this: if your body doesn't have the spark of magnesium, that protein can't be fully used. Magnesium is the key in the ignition, the quiet force that turns effort into real strength. And the best news? You can start replenishing it right now. Here's a truth many people forget: muscles don't grow while you exercise. They grow while you rest. The workout is just the signal. The rebuilding happens later, in the quiet hours when your body repairs itself. And this is where magnesium becomes one of your greatest allies. One of magnesium's most powerful roles is calming the nervous system. Throughout the day, your body switches between two gears: the fight or flight mode, which keeps you alert and ready for stress, and the rest and repair mode, which is where healing takes place. Without enough magnesium, your body often gets stuck in stress mode. That means instead of building new muscle tissue, your body may keep breaking it down. Magnesium helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which tells your body, it's safe now. Time to heal. It supports GABA activity in the brain, which lowers racing thoughts and stress hormones like cortisol. That shift is critical, because when cortisol stays high, not only do you feel anxious or restless, but your body also resists muscle repair. And then there's sleep. Research from Harvard has shown that magnesium improves the quality and depth of sleep, which is when most of your muscle repair and memory processing happens. Without enough sleep, it becomes lighter, more interrupted, and far less restorative. With the proper levels, deep sleep becomes easier, and your body uses that time to rebuild tissue, balance hormones, and restore energy. I think of Helen, a 70-year-old grandmother who once told me she'd wake up feeling like she hadn't slept. She was diligent about exercise and diet, but her body wasn't recovering. After focusing on magnesium intake, her sleep deepened, her soreness faded faster, and she noticed her balance improving within weeks. "It feels like my nights finally count again," she said with a smile. That's the real beauty of magnesium. It doesn't just help your muscles. It helps create the conditions where your body can do what it was designed to do: recover, restore, and rebuild. Stronger muscles are born in the quiet moments. Magnesium makes those moments possible. You might be wondering, if magnesium is essential, why are so many people over 60 missing it? The answer lies in a combination of modern lifestyle, food supply, and even common medications. First, our soil isn't what it used to be. Decades of modern farming have stripped the earth of many essential minerals, including magnesium. That means even fresh vegetables often contain less magnesium than a generation ago. You could be eating spinach or whole grains and still not get enough of this critical nutrient. Second, processed foods dominate today's diets: white bread, refined sugar, packaged snacks. All of these are stripped of magnesium during processing. Even when we think we're eating normally, much of what's available simply doesn't deliver what our cells require. Third, many medications frequently prescribed to older adults interfere with magnesium absorption. For example, proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, certain diuretics for blood pressure, and even some antibiotics can deplete your magnesium reserves. Add to that the natural decline in absorption that comes with age, and the odds stack against you. That's why deficiency is often called the invisible epidemic. According to Harvard Health, many older adults have what's known as subclinical deficiency, meaning their levels are low enough to cause fatigue, cramps, or restless sleep, but not low enough to show up on a basic blood test. This is why so many people brush off their symptoms as just getting old. I recall one patient, James, a 69-year-old who kept waking up with painful leg cramps. He blamed it on aging muscles, convinced nothing could help. In reality, his body was starved of magnesium. Once he began replenishing it, the cramps eased, his sleep improved, and he felt years younger. His comment still makes me smile. Turns out it wasn't old age, it was just missing minerals. That's the point I want you to remember. Feeling weaker, more tired, or less steady isn't always about age. Often, it's your body waving a flag saying, "I'm low on fuel." And when you give it back what it needs, strength and vitality return. Not all magnesium is created equal. Walk into a store and you'll see bottles labeled with words like oxide, citrate, glycinate, or threonate. It may not be very clear, but here's the truth. Each form works differently in your body, and some are far more effective than others. Take magnesium oxide, for example. It's cheap and easy to find, but the body absorbs very little. Most of it passes through your system without doing much for your muscles or nerves. On the other hand, magnesium glycinate is far more bioavailable. It absorbs well, is gentle on the stomach, and has the added benefit of calming the nervous system, making it excellent for muscle recovery and better sleep. Magnesium citrate is another helpful option, especially for people who struggle with cramps or digestion. And then there's magnesium threonate, which is unique because it can cross into the brain and support memory and mental clarity. Choosing the proper form depends on what your body needs most: stronger muscles, deeper rest, or sharper focus. Timing matters too. Many people find that taking magnesium in the evening supports deeper sleep, allowing the body to repair muscles more effectively overnight. If you're physically active, a smaller dose after exercise can also help with muscle contraction and reduce soreness later on. Think of it as giving your body the necessary tools when the repair crew shows up. And here's something most people don't know: magnesium doesn't work alone. It has powerful partners. Vitamin D, for example, helps your body absorb magnesium, while magnesium helps activate vitamin D into its usable form. They rely on each other. Without one, the other can't do its job thoroughly. Countless people were frustrated when protein shakes and workouts didn't stick. Once they paired the correct form of magnesium with their daily routine, their efforts started paying off. Muscles grew, energy lifted, and sleep deepened. The bottom line is this: the form and timing of magnesium can transform it from just another supplement into a real turning point for your strength and recovery. Most of us are taught to see aging as a slow battle we can only defend against. We're told to take supplements to hold the line, to protect bones, slow decline, and make do with what we have left. But what if we flip that script? What if we focused on building strength instead of playing defense, even after 60? That's where magnesium, paired with movement and rest, becomes more than just a nutrient. It becomes a tool for growth. Think of it this way: supplements aren't crutches, they're amplifiers. They make the good habits you already practice — walking, stretching, eating well — work better. It's like turning up the volume on a song already playing. The music was there, but now you can finally hear it. Mindset plays a huge role here. In studies on older adults, researchers found that people who believed their bodies could adapt gained more muscle than those who thought decline was inevitable. Even when they followed the same program, your body listens to your beliefs. If you treat it as fragile, it tends to act fragile. If you treat it as resilient and adaptable, it often surprises you with its strength. I think of Maria, a 71-year-old widow who had almost given up on exercise. She told me, "What's the point? I'll never get stronger at my age." However, her energy returned once she started using magnesium to improve her recovery and sleep. She began light resistance training, first with soup cans, then with small weights. A few months later, she called me, beaming. "I carried my groceries up 2 flights of stairs without stopping." Her body responded because she gave it the tools and changed her mindset. Aging doesn't mean surrender. It means learning how to work smarter with your body. Magnesium is one of those innovative tools that can help you shift from just managing decline to actively building resilience. When you believe your body is still capable, you naturally choose habits that feed strength instead of weakness. You're not just defending yourself from age, but shaping a stronger future. Your body isn't broken. It's not beyond repair. What you've been experiencing — slower recovery, weaker muscles, restless nights — isn't simply old age. It's your body asking for the right conditions to heal. And now you know that protein alone isn't enough. The real story is bigger. It's about hormones, energy, sleep, stress, and yes, the quiet but powerful role of magnesium. Magnesium is the missing link that helps your body use protein, repair muscle, and restore energy. Without it, all the hard work, your careful meals, walks, even your workouts — doesn't fully pay off. But when magnesium is replenished, It turns the key in the ignition. Suddenly, your efforts start working again. Strength comes back. Energy lifts. Confidence grows. Think back to the examples we've shared. Robert regaining his pace on morning walks. Linda finally escaping the feeling of walking in sand. Maria proudly carrying her groceries again. None of them found a magic cure. They gave their bodies the signal to rebuild. And your body can respond the same way. So here's my encouragement for you today. Don't settle for the idea that weakness is inevitable. Start asking better questions. Instead of, am I just too old? Ask, what is my body missing? Instead of saying, I can't, say, what tools can I give myself to get stronger? And I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed changes in your strength, recovery, or sleep? Have you tried adding magnesium to your routine? Your story might inspire someone else who feels stuck. Share your experience in the comments. I read them, and often they help others more than you realize. If this message resonated with you, give this video a like. It helps spread the word so more people over 60 can discover that muscle loss isn't destiny. And if you want more simple, science-based tips on staying strong, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Because age isn't an ending, it's a new stage where your body can still learn, adapt, and rebuild. And with the right tools, you can feel strong, steady, and full of energy again.